Our 2023 game plan for wholesaling real estate domination. What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here.
Rick Ginn here.
And in today's video, we're going to break down exactly our 2023 game plan for wholesaling real estate success. And most importantly, how you can dominate your market, destroy your competition, and have the best year ever for wholesaling real estate. But before I break it down, you already know what to do. Make sure you all go out here and smash that like button, hit that subscribe button to get the best information from us. So hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, comment below your questions, and we want to actually hop on here and talk to you guys on exactly how to make 2023 your best year ever. Now, there's going to be a lot of changes in 2023 as from 2022, but if you can figure out exactly what to do, how to pivot, and exactly the right strategies, it's going to be probably the best year of your life for wholesaling real estate. What you have to understand is when the real estate market changes, we as wholesalers, we don't own the real estate. It doesn't really affect us. When markets actually change, it works really well, right? So like you look at day traders, for example, right? Do they make money when stocks just go the same?
Nope.
No, when there's crazy volatile days where the price goes up and down, it goes nuts. That's actually when you make the most money as a day trader. And in wholesaling real estate, we're very similar to that, right? Because we don't really own. See, day trading is interesting because you buy and sell.
Yeah.
We actually don't own the real estate. So if we mess up, let's say you buy a stock at 100, it goes down to 50, we don't lose that money. We just get out of the contract. And that's a pretty interesting part about wholesaling real estate. You know, we're basically day trading houses without any problems. It's like option contracts. And so you're looking at this in wholesaling real estate. It's like, so if I can get all the benefits of being a day trader with all the volatility of the real estate market, but the downsides aren't really there. If my intentions are good, I got cash buyers and like that, you could make a ton of money, right? And that is the point, guys. A lot of wholesalers are going to zig where you should have just zagged. And we're going to teach you exactly how you should really make your moves in 2023 so you can destroy your competition, get the most amount of money for your wholesaling deals, and ultimately dominate, right?
Yeah, because the volatility is going on in the real estate market. We're not like day traders in the financial sector where they have to randomly try to figure out with software and their own guesses to make up that difference between high and low prices. In real estate, when you have that volatility, there's two things that happen. Fear takes over the market, and the uncertainty creates people they want to make very fast decisions. And when people want to sell their house, it's got some issues and they want to move fast, you can't push that button like you do in a stock. What do they have to do? Contact someone like a wholesaler, whoever can get in contact with these people. I don't care if it's phone call, text, mail, whatever it is. If you can have an educated discussion with them and understand what you're doing, this is how we make money in wholesaling. It is not like day trading. We are basically looking to add value to people's life. By us adding value, meaning finding distressed properties and then selling them the equitable interest, the contract to our cash buyers, that's how we make our spread. We do not depend on the market to make our spread. You, the wholesaler, makes the spread, and that's what we're going to emphasize today.
Exactly. So that's what we're going to break down. That's why we're excited. That's why we're jacked up. So before we get into it, do us a big favor. Make sure y'all go to freewholesaling.com. Make sure you like this video, hit that subscribe button, and we're ready to go. It's wholesale time, baby.
Let's do it.
All right, guys, we're ready. We're ready to go. So let's break down our 2023 game plan for success. Let's break down exactly how to dominate everything you need to know. So let's just get in the nitty gritty, guys. Let's get in the important stuff you need to know, and let's break it all down. So let's share the first part here. So the first thing I think we got to understand about 2023 when it comes to dominating in wholesaling real estate is, here's the first part, right? No way to sugarcoat it. Most likely real estate prices are going to be going down. Now, it's not going to be going down 15, 20, 40% most likely. You know, we're going to see some gradual changes, but, you know, we might have a difference of opinion, but it's not going to go down 50%. Like, it's not going to be a crazy crash. If you look at the experts, they're all predicting what? Maybe 5 or 10% below, but nothing too crazy, right?
Depends on like who you listen to. The reality is nobody knows exactly where it's going to be, and I would not obsess over it. As a wholesaler, honestly, change is good. What change does is it allows people to make decisions. So whenever people have a change in life, which we always talk about the two things that will always get somebody motivated. It's time and circumstance. So we definitely have a circumstance here.
Yeah.
And then we've had time gone by. So when this happens, it just creates opportunity. It's a lot different than the financial market when you do the real estate. Anytime people go through changes, they make decisions. What do we got coming up in December? We have the holidays. We just got through Thanksgiving, everything like that. And when it comes to the end of the year, everyone wants to make resolutions. They want to make change to better their lives. And why not have us, the wholesalers, help them accomplish that?
And yeah, that's the point. So I think the first thing we got to understand is don't panic. All right. I think this is the biggest issue I think a lot of new wholesalers have. And you got to remember that the gurus actually feed off you panicking. They feed off your emotions to sell you on a $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000 course. So I want you guys to understand that outside of us, you're probably going to get panicked, right? People are going to give you panic because, unless you pay me 10 grand, unless you go join the program or do this little thing or whatever, this JV program, whatever it is, they're going to strike fear and panic in you for 2023, get you riled up emotionally so you can go out here and they can get a sale off of you. I just want you guys to understand that when people talk about 2023, they're going to try to get you riled up. A lot of people, I think I got 5 ads on Facebook today when I was going through the group of people panicking, telling you that wholesaling is dead and that my creative financing thing is going to be the best thing. And I'm like, I didn't even know who this person was. And I'm like, I've never heard of this person before. And now they're trying to panic me. Like it's ridiculous. But I just want you guys to understand that like everybody around you in wholesaling that's trying to take money from you, they're going to panic you to get money from you. The people that really don't want your money, that are actually legit in this business and make a ton of money, they're not going to panic you. They're going to tell you what's working and what to do, right?
Either they have a quality product and it should stand on its own, and the price, whatever it is, if they have a price, it's transparent. But listen, guys, whenever it's not transparent or people say you only have to use like these people, like that's not free choice. And honestly, there's never one person in this business that just knows like everything. Some people know a little bit more than others. So don't panic. If you ever feel panic, I always tell people, what do you do? Like when my football team's struggling, I hope my team, Miami Dolphins, you go back to the basics: tackling, blocking, simplify it. Whenever things get overwhelming, you panic, I always tell people, go back to wholesaling. Wholesaling is what you want to do. And wholesaling is the fundamentals of all real estate investment transactions. So if you're struggling, you know what to do, just start with wholesaling. If you try this creative thing, which we love doing creative financing, you have to understand all the deals come through your wholesaling funnel, meaning all your marketing you do. The other skill sets you'll acquire as you learn. How do you learn? Talk to a ton of people, and you just go through the motions, and eventually within a year or two, you will be a master at this craft. All from wholesaling, guys.
Yeah, it's 100% true. But guys, don't panic about it. So yeah, I don't know about products Guru sell. I don't promote that. We don't think those are good. But I could tell you there's some good softwares out here, but like everyone's going to panic you for 2023. And what we're going to tell you is don't panic. And I use sports analogies, and some people don't like those, but it's absolutely true that like you're playing a game of football. Okay. Actually, okay. I can't play NBA. We'll put like honestly, we'll do a soccer analogy, right? We've got World Cup going on. So if you're playing soccer and somebody's running, a 4-2-2 or like how they do the attacks, right? I'll use football for you because you'll get lost.
Then you get confused between
all right. So they're playing football. Okay.
Okay.
If the defense is doing a zone and you've been doing man, you've been doing plays against the man coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to absolutely panic, fold, and then just like run in corner and you'll be not successful? A lot of other people are just going to fold under that pressure. Like, okay, I see it's zone because they run the person in motion. Okay, well, zone. So I'm just going to change my plays. The same thing in wholesaling. In 2023, everyone's used to playing man defense. Let's switch it. Now it's zone. So guess what we're going to do? We're just going to hear some plays that are going to work a little better on zone. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to really figure out. I want people to understand that. It's like, hey, I know it's going to rain. Let me bring my umbrella. You still have a great time, right? It's so funny out here that, once there's a little market shift, people freak out, they flip out, they don't know what to do. And honestly, this is pretty much expected, right? This is how real estate works, because real estate goes up, it goes down. Guys, this is the best opportunity ever. And I'm going to explain a little more why this is the best opportunity ever. Because I think a lot of wholesalers are getting really frustrated in 2022. 2021 of like every seller wanting $1 million for the house. They wanted all this stinking money for their house, and it sucked and it was terrible, and everyone just complained to me. Now those same people come to me and complain that real estate's going down. What do? And it's just always funny because wholesaling real estate is honestly a zero-sum game. And what do I mean by that? It's a zero-sum game. There is an interesting game in wholesaling real estate, and it's kind of a teeter, right? Like there's always the shifts of balance in real estate, and especially in the market's amazing, where in wholesaling real estate, some markets, it's really easy to find deals, and it's a little harder to find cash buyers. So the difficulty changes. And then some markets, it's really easy to find cash buyers, usually when real estate goes up, and it's harder to find deals. And now what we're doing is the teetering is not flipped. It hasn't really flipped, but what it did is just, it got a little closer. And so maybe the difficulty used to be finding deals and cash buyers were easy. Finding deals got a little easier, but finding cash buyers got a lot more difficult, not a decently amount difficult. So it's not a complete flip, and we don't know if it's going to flip, but things have changed a little, right? And the scales of balance, because it's actually right now in this market, it's gotten way easier to find deals. And because of that, guess what the counterbalance weight of that? Harder to find buyers.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, we have the internet. And this is in 2010, 11, or 12, where the internet wasn't in its prowess for real estate, where it was so easy and available to find cash buyers. There were some old school strategies we'll teach you guys today about it, but like the scales of balance has netted to actually getting more money and more profit, because if you can learn how to find buyers the right way, which they're actually pretty easy, gurus don't teach you it because they want to keep you broke, but they want to take your money. But it is the best time and opportunity to get into wholesaling, because it is honestly still a very decent time to find cash buyers, but it's an amazing opportunity to find deals. So for 2023, at worst, we see real estate prices going down 1 or 2% a month. So it might go down, 10%, 12%, might go down 20%. But most experts don't see it going down more than 5 to 10%. And I know you have your own opinions on things, but like, honestly, nobody knows.
Yeah.
But if it really goes down 10%, it's not going to affect you too much.
So the only person it affects is your end customer, which is your cash buyer. And you remember how sellers had an unrealistic expectation of what they wanted to sell their homes for at the peak of the market? Now you have the opposite going on with your cash buyers. They're like, well, it's going to drop another 20%. I need 6 months holding cost. And so they're being a little extreme. Now, some of them are somewhat legit, but you have to hear them out, because remember, you have to strike a balance between getting a motivated seller and now you got to get a realistic cash buyer. And that's the challenge we're dealing in this market. Let me give you an example. Like the fear, everyone's like, oh my God, mortgage interest rates are going to go to 10%. You see that all the time. Do you guys know what mortgage interest rates are right now? They're like 6.5 to 6.75 as we shoot this. And yes, they're going up, but they're not 10%. Like, it's fear takes it over. Why? Because it drives sales for everything. So I just approached it with the market change. So it went up like 0.5. So it's
7 right now.
It's still slightly below 7. And I'm telling you, like, dude, I used to have like my own mortgages at like 8, 9%. Now I know the numbers are different, but I'm telling you guys, don't buy into the panic. Nobody knows where the end is. Eventually the Fed will ease up on raising these interest rates. And the idea is when they get to like a neutral part, they'll probably, in my opinion, is bring the rates back down around 5.5%. Not a big deal. So I think 7.25, 7.5 is going to be the max we're going to. So 10% is not realistic. What I'm trying to tell you is don't buy into these fear models, because they get your attention. They sell a lot of stuff. And the reality is your biggest fear in your back of your head rarely ever comes true. The same thing in the real estate market. So when real estate markets are going down, we're talking the 1 to 2%, which it's doing now, is they don't go down forever. How long they're going to go down for? I do know it will probably be 12, maybe 18 months, but I think that's going to be about it. And then we're going to get back to a more balanced market. So it doesn't matter if it's dropping, going up, or staying the same. We are in a zero-sum game. Wholesaling, we are finding value add opportunities.
Yep, exactly. So what I can tell you next here is, this is a big thing. This is a big thing you guys got to understand. But in wholesaling real estate, buyers have gained the power. And buyers have gained the power in this market like crazy, because back then, buyers really didn't have the power, right? You could really talk smack to your cash buyers
Mm-hmm.
and really, say whatever you wanted. But the honest truth is, you can't do that anymore. And a lot of gurus and influencers said, treat your cash buyers like trash and run through all of them and don't build the real relationships, right?
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore, right? Like I've said, the teetering has changed, but you have to treat your cash buyers a lot better. And people have been treating their cash buyers as subhuman for the past couple
like
of years.
employees.
Like employees.
It's crazy.
And, well, not like employees, but like, I mean, they've been treating them pretty bad. Like, like, okay, I'll bid it up with the next guy. And for cash buyers right now, you have to treat them like you're treating your sellers. And what I mean by this, it's always a good thing to do is to treat your cash buyers like human beings. Yeah, that's always a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
But treat your cash buyers like sellers. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is you follow up with your sellers, you actually build a real relationship with them. And this is the weirdest part. You actually care about them. You actually care about what they think, what they say, their motivations, what their goals are for things. And once you build that relationship, when you send over a deal, they're gonna be like, more likely actually want to buy the deal from you, right?
Yep.
And it happens. It's crazy.
Guys, you got to take care of the cash buyer. Honestly, you should have never been blowing them off and treating them like that to begin with. And if you have, you're going to have to fix it. But if you're just getting started in wholesaling, the cash buyer is your ultimate customer. I know you can't do it without the motivated teller, but you need to understand that. So
yeah, you got to hop off.
Yeah, I'm going to hop off for a few minutes. I'll take care of something. I'll be right back.
I think you got to sign something.
Yeah,
so, we got some notary stuff we have to get going today. And as you know, with notaries, they like to come up here and they like to be like, okay, you know what? This is the only time it can go. And so he's got to hop off real quick, get some things signed. Rental property drama. I'll tell you that. All right. I think we're getting 4 or 5 roofs put on. And so we got the notaries lined up for it. So it's a mess. But all right. Rick will be on probably 30 minutes. So he'll be back on. Don't worry. But one thing I can tell you guys, again, is treat your buyers like sellers. And once you start building relationships with them, actually caring what they have to say, caring exactly what their goals are, and really following up with them, you will actually make a lot more money. And, Kay's got a good one here. Treat everyone nice, right? And I think so many people treat their cash buyers like, I'll just bid it up. We'll just bid up with the next buyer. The other buyers can buy this. Guys, treat them like real human beings. And when a lot of people say, my cash buyers won't buy my deals, and I ask why they won't buy the deal, well, they're going to say, no, it's not, the prices don't work. It's not good. But if you build that relationship, they'll explain to you why it doesn't work. And maybe the next time when you got a tight deal, they actually take it. And kind of like Rick was saying, cash buyers are, quote unquote, they're pretty much like customers, right? Because we are in the business of not selling real estate, right? We actually sell contracts to buy real estate. And who is buying our contracts? The cash buyers. So if you treat them like trash, it ain't going to do well. Now, some businesses where there's like limited edition. So, you think of like Supreme, right? You think of all the Supreme hype beast guys, right? They'd be like, okay, we're selling it this time. We got 200. Go in line. We'll sell to the first 200. Whatever. Like, no care, right? And then you might go to another place where they're like, they treat you like a superstar and they try to sell you and do all this crazy. Supreme doesn't do that. The demand's high enough for them, right? But when you got another place that they're trying to sell you really nicely and they got salesmanship and all this stuff, right? It's a little different, like buying a suit, like a luxury suit or something, right? So you got to treat your buyers like your sellers and just treat them with dignity, respect, their goals, their relationship, and still be firm with them, right? Like you can't let a buyer run over you, right? You can't let a seller run over you. These rules still stay tried and true for 2023, but it is true that buyers have gained a lot more power. And if you treat them like regular human beings, you're going to be fine, right? The next part here is like I've said before, but there will be more deals. And what do I mean by there will be more deals? What I mean by this is in wholesaling real estate, there's actually going to be a lot more motivated sellers out here because especially with things going down, with the prices going down, more people are going to panic. And if they got their ugly houses, they're most likely just want to sell it now before it loses more value. And this is going to lead to a lot more contracts being written. There's going to be a lot more deals being done, which means if you have the buyers already set up, you're actually going to sell more deals than ever. And this is why I've been telling everyone, keep the buyers going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. But hey, some people don't want to do that. And that's okay, right? But I just want everyone to understand that there's going to be more deals. And to understand there's going to be more deals, this leads us to the next point here, which we're only going to want to deal with actual motivated sellers. We're only going to want to deal with people that are actually motivated, actually people that need to sell the property, people that want to sell the property and need to. They actually have a real motivation for it. I think a lot of wholesalers out here, they don't have, a lot of wholesalers out here will talk to a seller and the motivation's not really there. You're going to be wasting your time. And that time can be spent with cash buyers. That time can be spent with offering more sellers and dealing with actual people that want to sell the property, right? If you want to dominate in 2023, you're going to have to care more about your buyers, spend more time with your buyers, deal with only motivated leads, right? Understand the opportunity that you have. And so I think I would say probably like here, I would probably put at least 25% more time into finding buyers. And maybe you're not taking that away from your marketing to a point, but you just got to get more efficient with it, right? If you spend about 25% more time with your cash buyers, following up, talking to them, doing things like that, it's going to be very important. So figure out if you're spending 4 hours a week last year on cash buyers, I'd probably up that to 5. And the reason why, and is just because cash buyers do have a lot more power. Because it is easier to find deals, I would probably spend more time this. And this is not an excuse to find cash buyers first and then the deal. I think everybody still should find the deal first and then the cash buyer. But hey, to each their own, right? But really got to figure it out exactly the which way you want to do it the right way. But I would probably spend more time with cash buyers. Next part here is just creating your LAO. And what is your LAO, right? Rick talked about this the other day, and this is a huge one. But a lot of wholesalers care about their MAO. That is the only thing that they ever focus on. That is the only thing they ever care about. And they calculate it to a T. They get it. They do it to the decimal, to the exact penny, how much their MAO is going to be. And they pretend that they are perfect on their comps and no one else can do it. And their MAO is $102,267.47. And then, to the fourth power squared on a 0.0 penny, and they think no cash buyer will. Guys, it's so stupid. Okay, it's like creating an MAO for a pound of cheese at the grocery store. All right, the pound of cheese, the MAO, the most I'm going to sell this cheese for is $3 for a pound of Swiss cheddar. And maybe at Kroger it's $3.50, but like I go to Walmart it's $2.50, and then I go to like Whole Foods and it's $5. Like, it's the same piece of cheese, but someone at Whole Foods is going to pay $5 for it. Someone at Walmart's paying $2.50, and someone at another store is paying $3.50 for it. It's like, but I thought my MAO was $2.50. Well, someone at Whole Foods just bought it more, but someone at Walmart bought it lower. You don't know how much the property is going to sell for. You actually don't know what the MAO is. The point of the MAO is really, honestly, just to shoot a best guesstimate of what to offer. And so you guys out here that are doing perfect calculations for every single property, it's not true. And I hate to say this, but for most wholesalers, if you just make an LAO and just offer and then really negotiate the best price possible, it's going to be best. And what is LAO? But LAO is the least allowable offer. And Rick talked about this Friday, and I think a lot of people got confused with it, right? I had one guy yesterday say his LAO is 50% of what the thing's worth, and I probably would not put that there, right? My definition for LAO is honestly 20% of the MAO. So let's kind of do a calculation here, right? And I think LAO is different for everybody, but really we're going to look at this and you can see it. So if my MAO for a property is 250 grand, I'm just going to multiply that by 0.8, and that's probably going to be my LAO. And if you want to do a quick guesstimate on it, I would put LAO for any property above 200,000. I would probably put 50 or 60 below that, right? Now, there's extraordinary circumstance, things like that, sure. But LAO should be what you're focusing on. If you focus more what your initial offer is going to be and not what the MAO is, it's going to help you out so much more. Right now, you should have an MAO. And I think everybody watching this should have one. But like, to a point, you should probably focus more on lowballing the seller than anything. Because I see a lot of wholesalers just focus on that. Oh, it's my MAO going to be? Guys, focus on what you're going to offer. And you're going to be shocked. Now, you guys see me do my live cold calling. You see me go out here and get $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 price reductions because I could care less what the MAO is, or I could care less about exactly what the listing price is. I care about just lowballing them and seeing the reaction to it. So if I can figure out someone's motivation, I can gauge how much I'm going to lowball them. And if you can start caring about what your LAO is, what you're uncomfortable with offering to a motivated seller, you're going to do well, right? And I think a lot of wholesalers, they get very confused. They get very stressed out, right? And I think you got to come out here and just realize that you don't know how much someone's going to buy your property for. Sorry, buy your contract for the property. You don't know what it's going to be. Nobody out here knows exactly how much someone's going to pay for a deal. That's really out of your control. What's in your control is getting the property for the lowest price possible. And how do you get the property for the lowest price possible? You lowball. You actually go out here and do the lowballing strategies. You find the LAO. You figure that out. So now LAO is a rough guesstimate too. I would say 20% of the MAO should be your LAO. But on top of that too, maybe take 50K off the top and use that for profit, right? Worst case scenario, they say yes, you make a ton of money. Worst case scenario, you negotiate from there. You just think about it, if you do it really low LAO, and you can't offend a seller too much with it, right? Like one guy had I'm using him for an example, but he had a MAO of 400,000. And so he just cut that in half at 200,000. Guys, if the property's worth 460 grand and you offer 200,000 for it, it's really hard. And I'm just being honest with you. It's really hard, even with the lowball strategies we have, to get something accepted. So if you're offering, what is it? 200 divided by 450 minus 200. If you're offering 44 cents on the dollar of what the thing's actually worth, like worth to a cash buyer, it's like you're going to get laughed out and you're really going to burn your relationships. And I talked to even more people yesterday, right? And that's why I like doing my one-on-ones. I like having kind of a touch and feel in the market. But a lot of you guys out here too are trying to send these insanely high offers to your cash buyers, thinking that one of them is going to be a sucker who's going to buy it for that crazy high price. Because I do a lot of JV, like I get a lot of JV deals sent to me. If somebody sends me a deal that's just way too high and they're just trying to make a 40, 60, 80K check off of me, I'm just going to probably block them. And I'm just being completely honest with you. If you send me a deal and you locked it up for 100 and you say, Zach, we can split anything above 180. And I know you locked it and like the number, it's even worth 150 and you're just trying to find a sucker. I don't want to deal with you. You're just wasting my time. And a lot of cash buyers, once you waste their time, they're going to burn your relationship with them, right? So make sure the cash buyer makes some money on the deal. And I think you start doing that, I think your relationships are going to change. You're going to stop, quote unquote, struggling to find buyers after you burn them so much. It's insane, right? And I think so many wholesalers out here, they get so offended, right? And so, yeah. So I'll tell you, he did talk about 50% of ARV, but it's relative to what your ARV is. So if the ARV is, all right, so I want people to understand this, okay? If your ARV is $100,000, okay, and you offer 50% of that, you got to understand. So if it's 100,000, but repairs are, let's say for an example, 35,000, 0.8, that's 52. That's your MAO 52. So that works. But if I have a $500,000 property and then I multiply that, so I minus off 500,000, I multiply 40K in repairs, multiply that by 83%. If I have an MAO of 381 and I offer 250, it's not going to be that's way too low of an LAO. But if I have a $100,000 house and it needs 40K in repairs and I multiply that by 0.7, it changes, right? So what he's saying is Rick's trying to give you one equation for all. And what he means on that is if your ARV is below probably 200, you can make that work, right? Like most of the properties we deal with in wholesaling. But I just want you to understand, this is the problem I think a lot of people get is they think that a property worth 60, 70, 80, 90, 100,000 ARV is going to equate the same thing if I'm in San Bernardino, California. And I'm going to offer 100,000 for a house I know is worth 750 ARV. Like, guys, things are changing everywhere, right? And you just got to understand that. That's why when people go and tell you that 70% rule works for everything, it's like, so if I have a $2 million house, I have to use 70%. Like, it doesn't work like that, okay? I think a lot of wholesalers get that really confused. So just be careful with your LAO. Yes, that 50% works, but once your ARV gets to a certain point, it's not going to work. And there's not a one size fits all approach to real estate. If every house was worth the same amount of money and they're all the same, sure, but it's all different. And I want you guys to understand the offer formula we have stays the same. There are slight adjustments that we always do make, but really the ones we've been talking about really do stay the same. The problem I see with a lot of people is their ARVs are too high. So the reason why gurus and coaches and influencers and legit real estate wholesalers will just tell you a 70% rule because they assume you're stupid. And what do I mean by that? They assume you don't know how to run comps. So they assume when you look at comps, you're looking at comps from 8-9 months ago, and that you assume that a 3-2 sold for 400 grand 10 months ago, that you're assuming that's the ARV. And most wholesalers do that because they don't understand it. You have to take back. So if a property 10 months ago sold for 400 grand, most likely it's worth 370, 360 right now because of the change of the market. And when you don't make that adjustment, the 70% rule actually works. But if you do your ARVs right and you have a legit comp from like a week or a month ago, that 7% rule doesn't work. So yeah, use the 70% rule if you're going to just absolutely not care about what the property, if you don't do your ARVs right. Sure. You inflate your ARVs, find a comp that had a golden toilet that's worth $1 million and assume that's guys, your cash buyers aren't dumb. And that's, I think, the next point I want to talk about. Okay. And honestly, I'm going to write this down. This is really important. I'm going to be stupid too, because a lot of people try this. Your cash buyers aren't stupid. And I want you guys to understand that. Your cash buyers aren't dummies. All right. You are not going to pull a fast one on them and try to sell it for way more than it's worth. And if you burn that cash buyer, they're not going to buy from you again. I think everybody understands that. So if you find a comp and you're looking at a crazy high comp and you skip all the bad comps because you want to make yourself feel good that the property's worth, guys, the value of something, the free market in capitalism does not care about how you feel about a price. They care about what the numbers are and what the facts are on the deal. So you might be only looking at the high comps and the cash buyer might be only looking at the low comps. There's always an in-between, right? And if you think your cash buyers are stupid and they're not going to see the low comp, you're screwed, okay? I think so many wholesalers, they feel like they're going to pull a fast one on their cash buyer. If you do the ARVs the right way that we teach at freelisting.com, you're going to be fine. The only change we're going to see in 2023, if you got a comp from 2 years ago or a year ago, you're going to have to adjust down on it. And if you adjust down, it works well. And the last part here is we just got to focus on the big three for 2023 for finding cash buyers. So I get this all the time. Like, Zach, you're saying I should find cash buyers more. It's more important. What do I do? Like, what do I do? I'm freaking out, Zach. Focus on the big three, right? And the big three for 2023 for finding cash buyers, for 80% of the cash buyers out, I would say 80% of all cash buyers you can find from the big three strategies, okay? Big three is finding cash buyers on Facebook, finding cash buyers on the cash sales. It's theoretically all of them, technically. And then cash buyers for the 4 rents. The only one the big three doesn't associate for are the new cash buyers. But really, you want to deal with cash buyers that actually bought properties before. So really, most of them are going to be on here. Facebook groups, you can scrub emails. You can actually scrub out here on Facebook groups and actually find people that are saying they're cash buyers and vet them from there. Cash sales, if anybody bought a property for cash, call them up. There's a lot of cash buyers there. And then 4 rents. And obviously, the 4 rents are going to find the landlord buyers. Cash sales can find flippers. You use like listRA.com or ZachData.com. You can actually find the flippers tab. Then Facebook groups are from there. But guys, that is my plan for 2023. Me and Rick are doing that in our own business. So we put the money where our mouth is, right? Like, this is what we're doing. Now, I would probably say it's not an insane switch of what we've done previously, right? I don't think it's going to be this insane difference. But honestly, that's what we're doing. And once you start looking at your wholesaling real estate business like this, that like, hey, I probably should market more. I should talk to cash buyers more. And I should probably just increase the volume for everything. Start making an upward spiral in your life. And an upward spiral, which I've been talking about since Tuesday for you guys, is just start doing the things Do one action and it's going to lead to even better action. So just calling more will lead you to doing more deals. And what I mean by this, the more times you cold call will lead you to getting more leads. And once you get more leads, you're going to be able to give more offers. And once you're able to give more offers, that's going to lead you to more contracts. More contracts, you can actually use that to sell them to cash buyers more, because you can get cash buyers from your contracts by using that as collateral to actually attract them into your funnel for cash buyers. Then you're able to sell more deals to cash buyers, which are going to make you do more deals. So doing that one little thing is going to change everything for you. And it's going to lead you to more leads, more offers, more deals, more contracts, more cash buyers, more money in your bank account. So guys, do the upward spiral for wholesaling real estate. I promise you it's going to change everything. And it's going to lead you to become as successful as possible in wholesaling houses and in wholesaling real estate.